Hello, my name is Starla Henderson with Fronter House Quilts, and today we're going to make the vase from our spring sampler. I think this is probably the easiest part of this whole quilt, and it shouldn't take you very long to do it because you've already done all the steps already once before. Alright, I'm doing this just out of a simple brown fabric. What I chose for my actual quilt, the vase in my quilt, looked like something, a glazed piece of pottery, but this one will be really easy for you to see. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to prepare your template material just like we've done so far in this whole process. This is 2 pieces of freezer paper fused together after you've traced the shape of your vase onto your freezer paper. And then I ironed it onto the wrong side of my fabric, and I have trimmed 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And now you're also going to need to clip. There's this inside curve right here, and we need to clip those, and you don't clip it all the way up to, but just almost. And that will let the fabric ease its way through that inside curve. It's just like with needle turn. That fabric it needs to be clipped so it's not so tight trying to go into that curve. The outside curve you don't have to clip. So I'm going to clip on both sides here. Okay, well, I'll just clip on one side. I'm going to start here. This is our outside curve, and you can start anywhere on this. It's all going to be turned. It's one solid piece. There's nothing, connected to this. So just like before, you're going to take your glue and run it along the edge of my piece, and I'm going to go up till just about here and get that turned before I do mine kind of in pieces. I've just found that works best for me. I'm going to take my cuticle stick. I have discovered that this seems to work a little better for me. But if your fingers work better for you, then use your fingers. And sometimes I still use my fingers too. See, right there, not quite enough glue. It's really hot and humid here right now, and your weather seems to affect your glue. We're going to keep turning this all the way around. And some of this may be a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes it's actually easier, I think, with this technique if I don't have a full 1/4 inch, if it's just a little less. Okay, you see I've turned this inside curve. I'm going to turn this one here. Make sure it's all smushed down. And this is a fairly big piece, so I'm going to turn it over and just make sure I don't have any bumpies before I go into the next part, because I'm afraid it might get just a little too dry by the time I finish. Okay, now I'm going to go around this top part of the vase. And I think I'm going to actually trim this out just a little bit, because going around that curve, the outside curve, and I'm just going to trim it here, maybe out of camera. It's hard to do that and get it done right. That angle. Catching. But I'm going to trim it just a bit. Okay. So I'm going to re-glue this. And I'm just going to go to where this next inside curve starts, because basically it's the same all the way around. But I'm going to clip it just a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to go around this part. And I just keep pulling it. And as I get up here, I pull it a little bit at a time and just ease it around that that curve. Alright, now I'm in this next one. And you just do it a little bit at a time until you pull it into place, shaping it with your cuticle stick. And turn it over, and actually that looks really smooth. There's not any bumpies. I've noticed that I have fewer of those bumpies using my cuticle stick than I did using doing it with my fingers. So that's just me. Okay, I'm going to clip and do the rest of this and show you what it looks like when it's all completed. Okay. Alright, now you can see the whole thing is turned just like in our sample. It's all one piece. This part, as far as going on outside curves, is the hardest part because there's smaller curves. Down here at the bottom, it's a large round curve, so it's pretty easy to do. But just be very choosy with the fabric you pick for this. What I picked, if you look on my picture, almost looks like a glazed piece of pottery, and I picked that on purpose. And it's a batik. There are some beautiful batiks out there that can do wonders for applique, so check them out. But this is how we make the vase for our summer sampler. Thank you for joining me. Why don't you look me up on Facebook and on my YouTube channel, and we will pick this up. Next week I will show you how I figured out my placement on the background of my piece. So, thank you for joining me. This is Starla Henderson with Fronter House Quilts.